What if the stories told in ancient myths were not metaphors, but fragments of a forgotten truth? Could the bones of giants and lost technologies point to a civilization wiped from the pages of history? Why do global legends, from India to the Americas, repeat themes of flying machines, great floods, and mysterious beings? Are we standing on the ruins of an age far older than we dare imagine? In the 19th and early 20th centuries, reports from rural America frequently surfaced describing the discovery of massive skeletal remains, often standing between 7 and 12 feet tall. These remains, unearthed from Native American burial mounds across the Midwest and Appalachia, were often linked to lost races or ancient giants in local legend. Newspapers such as the New York Times, St. Louis Dispatch, and Cincinnati Enquirer published accounts of these anomalies. However, many of the bones allegedly vanished once representatives of the Smithsonian institution arrived to collect them. Critics argue this points to a systematic effort to suppress evidence that would disrupt conventional evolutionary narratives. Notably, a dig in Kanawha County, West Virginia, reported unearthing 10-foot skeletons alongside inscribed tablets featuring unknown glyphs, a combination suggesting a sophisticated lost culture. Adding further intrigue are the numerous cases of large humanoid bones discovered in disparate global regions, from the Lovelock Cave in Nevada, where miners in the early 20th century unearthed red-haired mummies over 8 feet tall, to documented findings in Ecuador's Amazonian jungle. In several locations, including South Africa and the Philippines, photographic records and testaments describe oversized femurs and skulls. Though mainstream archaeology remains skeptical, the consistency of these accounts in the historical record suggests they warrant closer interdisciplinary scrutiny. Independent researchers like Jim Vieira and Fritz Zimmermann have continued to document similar finds, often citing archival records, regional oral histories, and newspaper microfilm. Despite viral hoaxes such as the debunked 2014 satire piece claiming a Smithsonian confession, the mystery persists. Smithsonian officials have routinely declined to release comprehensive inventory logs, further fueling allegations of obfuscation. Until such records are made fully public, the bones of giants remain one of the great unresolved anomalies in American antiquity. References to Vimanas, ancient flying machines, span some of India's oldest epic narratives, such as the Mahabharata, Ramayana, and the Vedas. These texts describe aerial battles and advanced technologies, including vertical takeoff craft and intercontinental travel, far beyond the capabilities of known ancient civilizations. The Vaiyanika Sastra, often cited as a blueprint for these vehicles, was purportedly channeled by Pandit Subbaraya Shastri in the early 20th century. This Sanskrit manuscript details flight mechanisms, propulsion types, and exotic materials such as rukmas and etamugarbha metals. However, a 1974 study by the Indian Institute of Science debunked its aeronautical validity, concluding it was pseudoscientific and modern in origin. Despite this, descriptions of flying chariots, solar-powered vessels, and airborne palaces appear in many other ancient traditions. In Egypt, solar barques were believed to ferry deities across the heaven. Chinese legends spoke of Wei Che, mythical flying carts, while Sumerian texts referenced the Anunnaki descending from the sky. Pre-Columbian codices from Mesoamerica depict sky beings interacting with rulers and delivering knowledge from above. While many academics attribute these stories to allegory or astronomical metaphor, some researchers argue these reflect a global archetype, or possibly even a forgotten epoch of technological capability. Authors such as David Hatcher Childress and Erich von Daniken have long argued that the prevalence of flight myths could hint at either extraterrestrial intervention or the remnants of a now lost advanced civilization. Skeptics challenge these views as speculative, yet the depth and consistency of mythological flight lore continue to captivate both researchers and audiences. When viewed through a comparative lens, these ancient texts suggest that our ancestors may have preserved the memory of something remarkable, wings forged not in myth, but metal. Equally compelling is the enduring legend of Noah's Ark. Mount Ararat in modern-day Turkey has long been a site of speculation. Satellite imagery, ground-penetrating radar, and eyewitness accounts from mountaineers have hinted at a large, arc-shaped structure encased in ice. While expeditions have been inconclusive, they fuel the hypothesis that a global flood may indeed have been real and remembered across various ancient cultures, from Mesopotamia to Mesoamerica. Expeditions led by the late Ron Wyatt and others have documented a boat-shaped formation at the Durupana site near Mount Ararat, measuring approximately 500 feet in length, closely matching biblical dimensions. Ground-penetrating radar reportedly revealed subcompartments resembling hull structures. Turkish authorities declared the site a national heritage zone, but mainstream scientists argue the formation is a natural geological outcrop. What's particularly intriguing is the consistency of flood narratives across human civilization. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, dating back to Sumerian clay tablets, a great deluge is described, with striking parallels to the Genesis account. Hindu texts such as the Satapatha Brahmanana tell of Manu, the first man warned by a fish to build a boat before a world-consuming flood. In Mesoamerican lore, the Aztec Codex, Chimalpoca recounts a devastating flood where giants perished. Even in Polynesian tradition, oral histories from Hawaii and Samoa speak of oceanic inundations destroying ancient lands. These similarities suggest either a shared mythological archetype or widespread memory of an actual cataclysm, possibly linked to the end of the Younger Dryas period around 11,600 years ago. Despite skepticism, advances in climate archaeology and sedimentology have uncovered sudden sea level rises, flash glacial melts, and disrupted oceanic patterns that could explain the roots of these legends, until conclusive evidence emerges from beneath Thanat, Zofarat, or elsewhere. Noah's Ark remains one of the most enduring enigmas in both science and scripture. Modern research in paleoanthropology has also raised questions about the age of Homo sapiens. Discoveries in Morocco, dated to 300,000 years ago, push back the timeline of our species significantly. If we have been around for this long, what lost knowledge or civilizations might we have forgotten? Where are their monuments? And who built the early cities whose remnants are found beneath deserts and jungles? The Jebel Irhoud discovery in Morocco, dating back over 300,000 years, dramatically shifted the timeline of modern human origins. Fossil remains revealed a mix of archaic and modern traits, implying a longer evolutionary process than previously thought. Tools found nearby indicate behavioral complexity. This raises a fundamental mystery. If humans have been behaviorally modern for millennia, why do traces of early high culture remain so elusive? In recent decades, enigmatic ruins such as Göbekli Tepe in Turkey and submerged cities off the coast of India have challenged assumptions about when complex societies began. Göbekli Tepe, dating to roughly 9,600 BCE, predates Stonehenge by over 6,000 years and exhibits megalithic architecture that implies coordinated planning, astronomical knowledge, and symbolic expression far earlier than once believed. Additional clues emerge in the form of anomalous artifacts, so-called reports artifacts that suggest technical sophistication in the distant past. Examples include the Antikythera mechanism from Greece and the dendrolite reliefs from Egypt. Though controversial, these relics invite a re-evaluation of early human ingenuity. If Homo sapiens have existed for over 300,000 years, then the story of civilization may not be one of linear progress, but one punctuated by forgotten peaks of innovation, followed by catastrophic reset. Despite the lack of hard consensus, what unites all these themes is the persistent presence of unacknowledged possibilities. Official channels may dismiss them, but the recurrence of these patterns across geography and history speaks to deeper truth. The past, it seems, is far stranger and more complex than we have dared to admit. Despite a lack of conclusive evidence, recurring motifs, advanced technologies, global flood narratives, and giant beings span numerous cultures and epochs. This could suggest archetypal memory or a shared, forgotten epoch of human prehistory. Adding to the controversy are claims of anomalous fossil footprints, purportedly human, alongside dinosaur tracks. Sites like the Pelixi Riverbed in Glen Rose, Texas, have drawn both curiosity and criticism. While mainstream paleontologists assert these impressions are misidentified erosional features or dinosaur tracks distorted by natural processes, others insist the prints show clear human morphology. If genuine, such finds would not only rewrite evolutionary timelines but challenge fundamental assumptions about species chronology. Critics argue that the burden of proof remains unmet, but the debate reflects broader dissatisfaction with rigid academic paradigms. Whether metaphorical or literal, these mysteries persist because they resonate with something primal, our collective longing to understand who we are and where we come from. If truth lies buried beneath millennia of sediment and dogma, perhaps it is time to excavate with new tools and new eyes. Until the day when mainstream archaeology embraces the full spectrum of possibility, these strange echoes from the earth will continue to whisper truths in fragments. The persistence of these themes in folklore and oral history suggests that deeper truths may be encoded in ancient mythologies, awaiting reinterpretation through a multidisciplinary lens. From Sumerian tablets and Vedic hymns to Native American mound legends, these narratives carry the weight of something profound, whether forgotten history, shared memory, or cultural encoding. To dismiss them outright is to ignore a vital part of the human experience. Increasingly, scientists from diverse fields are recognizing that myth, when passed with rigor, can act as a cipher to ancient realities. This shift calls for collaboration, not between competing theories, but among open-minded disciplines willing to explore without prejudice. We may never uncover all the secrets of our past, but as long as we ask questions, dig deeper, and listen to the old stories, we edge closer to the buried truth.